What's happening? And welcome back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. Wow, I'm Jay Moore, the healthy accountant, helping you to account for life with an awesome, incredible day. Today, here's what we're going to discuss briefly, which is why most people fail to reach or to get to big goals. Why do people fall short? Could be a number of things. I got a book on my desk called Excuseless, and people can make a lot of excuses. There's a number of things that we can probably pinpoint, but there was something that recently was deposited into my spirit that was already there that gave me the understanding of why many of us have fallen short on big goals. So let's jump right in. So let's think about a big goal. Big, hairy, audacious goal. One of the things that I discovered in one of my first coaching programs with Darren Hardy, who was teaching us how to be more productive. This was back in 2014, I think. Yeah, 2014. I got in this program. I was in the network marketing, business, and I was just taken on a ride of how powerful it is to make big goals. But I was also taken on the ride of how disciplined a person must be in order to reach a big goal. Now, here's the thing. Most people don't like discipline. Let me ask you a question. Do you love discipline? Are you waking up in the morning and says, man, I'm just so grateful for all this discipline. I'm so happy to be more disciplined. I'm so happy that discipline is hurting me. I'm so happy to get my butt whooped. See, because discipline, most people, when you start talking about being more disciplined, most people are like, I don't like that. Because when we were kids, I know when I was a kid, when I did something wrong, I got my behind whooped. So discipline reminds me of when I got my behind whipped. And because it reminds me of that, most of the time I'm not feeling discipline. Come on, seriously now, just say to yourself, is that something that I desire? Do I desire discipline? Most people say no. I just want to do what I want when I feel like doing it. So when I was introduced to this productivity way of doing things, I'd have to say, it was through will. And will's at the first level. Like, will is the first level of getting through the discipline, because you can force yourself through and you can make it through, and it's good. And so and what I am saying is that if that's how a person needs to get started, like me, then that's how I got started. I start turning off my phone. I start not responding to people. I started to put my phone on silent and never answering it hardly. I started doing stuff that just was kind of wild and crazy. And I says, wow, this is how you create discipline. This is how you become more productive. And it was a ride. Now, as I moved, that was 10 years ago. It's 10 years later. There's something in taxes that I teach these days, which is, look, if you would like to deduct everything, in your business, there's one principle you have to learn. And it's the principle of intention. The intention that this is business. It's not just business. This is the intent. I'm trying to make money. And so when the IRS knows your goal is to make money for your business, a deduction, okay, deduct it. Because you think if you deduct $10 and you made $100, then there's a potential taxable event that just happened. So that's good. It's changing your mind around what intention is, because intention moves us away from what a goal is. That's what we're talking about. We're getting into this concept of, why most fall short of big goals. And so I don't know how many people fall short. I just know that I've fallen short. I've fallen short for many years. For the past 22 years, I have fallen short. I've been in a business since 2002, and I have fallen short on what my ultimate desires were. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? The short answer is my intentions were off. That's the short answer, but we're going to get a little bit deeper. We're going to go deeper into that. So when we think about intention, I'm going to stay on taxes right now because there's a lot of business owners who don't understand taxes. Man, I got the new book that I will be making an announcement about. Not today, but tomorrow. I'll make the announcement about when it'll be shipping out from Amazon and how you can get it. And hopefully, you'll definitely get this book. It's a book that I believe will change people's understanding of getting beyond taxes, like going beyond the strategies, like being bigger than you ever thought you could be. That's really what the premise of this book. It's like a teaser book anyway. So when we think about intention in our business and in tax deductions and making money, having money, if my intentions are pointed in the wrong direction, I can almost count. I know what's going to happen because I can look at my own business and say, well, if I didn't make that, if I didn't get to where I'd like to be, where was my intentions? Where was my intentions throughout 2023? What was the intentions in 2022? What were the intentions? And when I go back and look at the intent, I says, man, I was all over the place. I wasn't even focused. I had these goals and stuff. Yeah, I reached probably some small ones, but I'm just like, but the things that I really, 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 really wanted to accomplish, they didn't happen. Why? So this new book that I wrote, it's proof that my intentions drove the way. And here's how I'll explain the new book and how the intention drove me to get this book done. I didn't have a goal to write that book. I wasn't sitting around saying, I'm about to write this book on tax strategy, because the Lord knows I probably wasn't thinking that. But I deposited an idea into my spirit several years ago. Not several, but some years ago, back in 2019. 2019, I came under the influence of Dr. Miles Monroe. I've got a good amount of Monroe books sitting on this side, maybe 20-ish. I know my son has one of my books. I need to get that book back from him. But anyway, so when I heard Monroe died, I was like, it was painful. I said, man, I should probably pick up the mantle where he left off. Not pick up his mantle, not teach the kingdom the way he taught it, but just pick up the mantle, be like he deposited in. So I'm a fruit of his tree. So I'm blooming off of his tree. So I should probably write books. This was in 2019. No books had ever been written. Had no books in me. Had no understanding that I would write books. But I said, because he's gone, I would like to write books. And then I made a number. I said 80, maybe 80 books. 80 books. That's a lot of books. Most people don't even write one. And then if you write one, maybe you write two. But really, to write 10 books, when I see people who have a long list of books, I'm like, wow, they wrote 20 books. Wow, it's a lot of books. Especially when they're good and, maybe they're best-selling author. So I initially said 80 books. That was my intention. So I deposited an intention, not a goal. I didn't have a goal to write 80 books. Because if I made it a goal, then I would be striving towards it. See, the difference between goal and intention is usually people are striving towards a goal. And what happens is a goal sits on the outside of us. I'm hoping you can feel this. Think about the last goal, or let's just not think about your goals. Let's think about a person who in January, two people in January, the first person says, I'd like to lose 30 pounds. And the second person says, I'd like to make 6 figures in my business. Those two people. And what happens is they make a goal to do it. And typically goals, even though you can reach a goal, goals sit on the outside of us. 30 pounds is an external happening. That's an external goal. Like when I decided one day that I would, lose weight, I did. But here's what happened. I gained it back. But it wasn't until I made an intention that I would be in my best health. And I would do whatever it takes according to what I believe at any moment. And so what that means, I have been open to just about everything when it comes to health. I've gone vegan for 90 days. I've probably been carnivore, and I've watched this, I've watched that. I've taken tons of supplements and vitamins. I've done a bunch of stuff, all in the sake of being healthy, going to the gym every day, doing 500 push-ups every day, sitting around meditating, like doing all sorts of things that help me healthfully. I've done all of that for the sake of not losing weight, but for the sake of being healthy. And I made that intention back in 2015. It was 2015. It was after I had some results, and then I fell off, and then I realized that I chose the wrong. I pointed myself in the wrong direction. And once I pointed myself in the direction of intention, everything changed. Everything changed. Here it is, 2024, and I have not stopped. It's interesting because I realized I don't post hardly anything about me going to the gym anymore, because it's interesting because I know people do it. Oh, you can see me at the gym. Yeah. Now the reason why I think I post that I do push-ups every day. Like in the beginning, I was doing videos and showing people I'm doing push-ups. I technically really don't want to do that. I don't really want to have it. Oh, I got to take the time, turn the video on. Oh, I want you to see what I'm doing. I posted. The only reason I post that comment that I did the push-ups every day now, because I said I would. I told myself I would do this every day for a year, and I would hold myself accountable by posting that every day. I never said I was going to do a video about it every day. If I had somebody walking around with me, watching me, like if I could pay somebody that literally just anywhere I went, anything I was doing, they just videoed it. And at some point, I will do that. Now that will make it simpler. So the intention is everything. So that's like the losing weight one, but then the making money one. That's a whole different ball game. Person, look, I meet more people that says their goal is to, if I can just make $10,000 a month, just get started. Okay. And then they hit the wall and they don't do it. They never do it. A lot of times they never do. And why is that? Well, because they made a goal and not an intention. What should the intention be around that? And I looked at this. I says, well, the intention should be around who or what is in me that would drive me to do anything. So now we got to go on the inside. This is the inner game. My coach Pedro O'Dale, mentor Pedro O'Dale, says that you have to. It's the inner game that helps with the outer game. The outer game is all the goals and making money and all that stuff, but a lot of times that doesn't come if the inner game is all messed up. So we got to fix the inside, and we have to develop intention from the inside. It's crazy how as your life evolves, the things around you start evolving with you. The things that, it's just bananas, the things that have been showing up in my life. The fact that I'm a 3-time author is bananas. And I'm sitting there, I'm going to write another book this year. And I'll have best-selling books. Absolutely. At some point I'll get picked up by a big publishing company. But I'm not going to write them. I'm not going to strive for it, because it's not a goal. My intention is to evolve into that person that can easily and effortlessly get these things done, because that's in essence who I am. Let's say something to you. You are an infinite being. What does that even mean, infinite? What does it mean? It means that you're more. It means that there's no number. It means that there's no end to who you are. This is the part why most people fall fall short on big goals is because they have not embraced infinity within themselves. Wow. They have not embraced infinity within themselves. It's crazy because last year I started this book. It was called The Transformation of You to Infinity. I changed it to Biblical Success Secrets. That's still on the shelf. It's not available yet. It's not out yet. And sometimes I go, well, why did that happen? Here's the interesting thing I'm learning about God. What God does in my life, I don't know about yours. Here's what God does in my life. It's like I get these ideas, I do something, and then, slow down for a second. Have me slow down. I was about to bring that project out. Slow down. And then this new project comes up, Beyond Tax Strategy. And then it wasn't even planned. He says, good, it shouldn't be planned because let me show you. See, God wants to show you how infinite you are and how much more ability you have by showing you things and helping you do things that you was not even planning to do. The thing was already done. What's crazy about that book, I had the book in me. I'm walking around with Beyond Tax Strategy in my body. I'm walking around with it. What are you walking around with that is valuable? What are you walking around with? Seriously, what are you, right now in your body, you have stuff in there. The infinite part of you, the part of you that would thrive when you make it all about intention. Like, what would happen to your life if you start pulling out what's already in your body? As you know, I introduced the idea this week that one should suspend all of their beliefs in any area where they would like to grow. So say, for instance, a person says, hey, Jack, I'd like to make more money. You're going to have to suspend your beliefs about money. What does that mean? What does suspend mean? It's temporary. Suspend is always temporary. Temporarily not believe anything that we've ever believed about money. That's the first thing we have to do. I don't care. It should, doesn't matter. It could be good things, bad things. Everything that you believe about money has to be temporarily stopped so that we can become aware. So I shared with you yesterday, so that we can now become aware of what those beliefs are. And then if that belief is serving me for where does I want to go? And if it's not, then what belief do I need to add so that we can live out the things that we would like to live out? And the more and more I think about it and allow myself to suspend my own beliefs, what I see is intention. See, because I cannot suspend my beliefs without having an intention to suspend my beliefs. I cannot suspend my beliefs without realizing that there's something in me that's bigger than the beliefs that I possess already. I can't suspend my beliefs if I don't partner with, an idea that's probably different than the ideas that I've had. Like it's going to be virtually impossible to try and get to a new level doing the same thing that I did on the lower level. It's not possible to do that. So when we think about these big old goals that we've said that we'd like to reach, and this is the last story I'm going to share with you as we jump out of here, because this is personal. I remember, in high school, I decided to be a CPA. I'm going to be a CPA. There's a big old test. I remember they started telling me about the test. Test is hard. Most people don't pass it. I'm just pass. I'm going to pass it. I'm not afraid, but I'm going to do it. And I remember, getting out of college, I went and took the test. And I made sure I didn't study. I just wanted to see what it felt like. Went in there. I didn't pass. I said, okay, I took it. I didn't pass. And then I said, I'm going to take it and I'm going to pass. See, my intention was I said, I will take this and pass. Now, here's what I want to insert here. The CPA, had I had better intention, would not have been where I would have pointed myself. I would have pointed myself higher. But I didn't know. So I pointed myself towards that. So here it is. Then I went and passed the CPA. And this is where I knew I made a mistake. Nothing happened. I thought that it was going to be like, this is the reason why. When you do this, this is why you'll be rich. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be rich. This is the reason why you will go from, the jobs you're on, they're just going to give you more raises. It's just going to be all crazy. I had a bad sense of understanding of how the marketplace worked at the time. But then I realized that when I looked at what other CPAs were making, I was like, oh, that's not what I desire. And I realized, man, I pointed myself in the wrong direction. I did not point myself in the direction of what my true intentions were. I didn't know how to discover what my true intentions were. I didn't understand what true intention is. I didn't understand that intention being the driving force of your life. When you allow that to drive your life turns into something it turns into a masterpiece. I didn't know that. But as I look back on those, 20 plus, 25-ish, just say 30 something years, 35, because I was introduced to the concept back in 89. So 35 years ago, I pointed myself in a direction that ultimately was just a goal. But ultimately, it wasn't my intention. So now that I'm here 35 years later, what do we say? What do we do? Oh, okay. I understand it now. Point yourself in the direction of intention for your life. And I realized, I says, wow, helping people to account for your life and their business is my intention, to help people to account for their life and their businesses. Wow. Now that's my intention. It's not a goal. It's just something. It's just who I am. And now, as we move forward in the next phase of life, we'll know how to shatter goals, because instead of going for goals, we go for intention. And by going for intention, we see the infinite that's always been in us, so that we don't just help ourselves, we help an infinite amount of people around us. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. This is Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant. My job, my mission is to help you to account for your life. And if you have a business, to help you account for your business. God bless, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the Healthy Accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.